She didn't live in a fancy apartment or a sprawling home. Her space was modest, just enough for one. But the moment you stepped in, something felt different. No clutter, no chaos, just calm. The table was clear, shoes neatly placed by the door, a single vase with fresh flowers. Everything had a place, and everything was in its place. It wasn't wealth. It wasn't luck. It was habit, quiet, intentional habits. The kind that turn any home, big or small, into a space of peace. But how? How did she keep her home so effortlessly tidy, while most of us feel buried under piles of paper, clothes, or forgotten stuff? That's what you'll discover today. 7 gentle, powerful habits inspired by Japanese women that can help you create a home that feels lighter, calmer, and truly yours again. Before we continue, don't just watch and scroll. Support this peaceful space by tapping the subscribe button on your screen. It's free, and it tells YouTube that you want more content made especially for smart, elegant women like you. If your home feels more like a storage unit than the peaceful space you once dreamed of, you're not alone. So many women, especially after 50, quietly carry the weight of too much stuff, too many memories, too little peace. But that can change. Welcome to Eversmart Senior Women, the channel where smart living begins after the golden years. Here, we don't chase perfection. We rediscover clarity, comfort, and confidence through simple, thoughtful habits. You've entered a space created just for you, where less really does become more. Today, you'll discover 7 simple habits inspired by Japanese women, quiet, daily practices that can help transform your home from chaotic to calm. These aren't passing trends or overwhelming routines. They're timeless principles rooted in mindfulness, order, and respect for your space. Small shifts that lead to big peace. And best of all, they work no matter your age, your home size, or where you're starting from. Habit number 1, reset the space daily. She didn't wait until the weekend to tackle the mess. There was no grand cleaning day, no hours lost to scrubbing or sorting. Instead, she had a quiet evening ritual, simple, soft, almost meditative. Each night, just before bed, she walked through her space and gently returned everything to its place. A book left on the chair. A mug by the sink. The shawl she had draped over the sofa. One by one, she reset her home to its beginning. Not because she was obsessively tidy, but because she respected her space. And more importantly, she respected her peace. She understood something many women overlook. Clutter doesn't come all at once. It builds in the tiniest ways. A receipt here, a magazine there. A handbag dropped on the dining chair and forgotten. And if left too long, those little messes root themselves. They grow into frustration, into heaviness, into shame. But when you reset the space daily, you interrupt that cycle. You prevent mess from becoming mood. You wake up to a home that welcomes you, not one that overwhelms you. This habit isn't about perfection. It's about choosing peace, one small act at a time. You don't have to fold towels with precision or organize your pantry by color. You just have to put things back kindly, consistently, and without judgment. Over time, this becomes less of a chore and more of a rhythm. Like brushing your teeth or saying goodnight. It creates closure to your day and a fresh start for tomorrow. If you've ever woken up already feeling behind, if you've ever avoided a room because it made you feel guilty, this one habit can gently begin to change that. It takes 5 to 10 minutes. It costs nothing. But the reward is space that supports you, not suffocates you. What about you? Do you have a calming night ritual that helps reset your space or your mind? Or is this something you'd like to try starting tonight? Let's talk in the comments. Your small steps might inspire someone else. Habit number 2, less is peaceful, own only what you use. She didn't live by trends and she didn't chase perfection. But when it came to what stayed in her home, she was clear, only what served her stayed. There were no drawers stuffed with expired coupons. No linen closets filled with bedsheets she hadn't touched since the 90s. She didn't own 5 of the same kitchen tool or hang on to clothes that hadn't fit her in years. She kept what worked. She let go of what didn't. Because she understood this truth. Peace takes space to breathe. And clutter, even quiet, hidden clutter, steals that space inch by inch. It wasn't about being minimalist or rigid. It was about being intentional. Every item in her home had a reason to be there. If it didn't serve a purpose, it didn't stay. That meant fewer decisions to make, less mental weight, and more room to enjoy the things that truly mattered. Many of us keep things out of guilt. Gifts we never liked, clothes we hope to wear again, duplicates we thought we might need someday. But that someday rarely comes. And in the meantime, the clutter grows quietly while our energy shrinks. Letting go can feel like loss, but really it's a return. A return to clarity. A return to ease. A return to a space that reflects who you are now, not who you used to be or who you're afraid to disappoint. The best part? When she donated what she no longer needed, she didn't feel regret. She felt light. Because she knew someone else might actually use that second coffee maker, that untouched sweater, that serving dish collecting dust. Owning less isn't about having nothing. It's about having enough. Just enough to move freely, to clean with ease, to breathe. And if you're in a season of life where clarity and calm feel more important than ever, this habit becomes a gift, not just to your home but to your mind. What's one item you've held onto and are finally ready to release? Or have you already embraced this habit of owning only what you use? Share your story in the comments. Your honesty might be the nudge another woman needs today. Habit number 3, remove your shoes, remove the mess. At her front door, there was an invisible boundary. Not marked by a sign, but by something more powerful, intention. The moment she crossed that threshold, she slipped off her shoes. Not out of habit, but out of respect for her home, her energy, and her peace. It seems like such a small gesture. But in Japanese homes, it's a daily ritual that carries deep meaning. Shoes carry the outside world, its noise, its stress, its mess, and leaving them at the door is a quiet way of saying, "This is my space. This is sacred." By removing her shoes, she removed more than just dirt. She left behind the tension of traffic, the errands, the conversations that drained her. She created a pause, a moment where the outside ended and the inside began. And in doing so, she protected the calm she had built within her walls. This isn't about being strict or ceremonial. It's about being mindful, choosing to draw a line between the chaos out there and the calm in here. It's a gesture that tells your body and your mind, you're home now. You can rest. For many women, especially after 50, the home becomes a sanctuary, not just a place to live, but a place to heal. And healing requires space that feels clean, safe, and intentional. This simple habit does more than keep floors clean. It keeps your nervous system settled. It invites quiet. It signals to anyone who enters, this home is loved, respected, and cared for. If you've ever felt like your space was carrying invisible tension, or like your home didn't feel as restful as it used to, this might be one of the gentlest shifts to try. Keep a basket near the door. Place a soft mat under your feet. Create a little ritual that feels welcoming. And slowly, the act of coming home becomes something deeper, not just physical but emotional. What does coming home mean to you these days? Do you already have a ritual that separates the outside from your sacred space? Or is this a habit you'd like to begin? Let's share in the comments. Your experience might speak to someone silently searching for peace. Habit number 4, designate a home for everything. She never wasted time searching. Not because her memory was sharp, but because her home followed a quiet system. Scissors weren't somewhere in a drawer. They had a drawer and they always went back there. Receipts had a box. Keys had a hook. Even the most ordinary things had a resting place. And because of that, she rarely felt overwhelmed. There's something deeply calming about knowing where things belong. It saves you from the daily mental drain of where did I put that? You don't realize how often you ask that question until you don't have to anymore. In Japanese culture, this habit is rooted in both efficiency and respect. not just for time but for the items themselves. Everything has a home. Everything returns to its home. There's no chaos, no guessing, no frustration. And it's not about being perfectly organized or color-coding every drawer. It's about creating consistency. Your phone charger doesn't live in 5 different places depending on the day. It lives in one. And that one choice makes dozens of small decisions disappear from your day. The beauty of this habit is how empowering it becomes, especially in a stage of life when forgetfulness can creep in. When your mind already has enough to carry, your home shouldn't add more confusion. It should support you, guide you, offer ease, not effort. You don't need fancy containers or a label maker. You just need to decide, where does this go when I'm not using it? And then stick with it. You'll notice less clutter, less stress, and more time doing what actually brings you joy, because you won't be spending it retracing your steps or digging through drawers. It's a quiet kind of freedom. One that feels small until it becomes second nature. Then suddenly, everything flows and your home feels like it's working with you, not against you. What's one item in your home you always seem to misplace, and what new home could you give it today? Share your small systems or struggles in the comments. You never know who you might help with a simple idea. Habit number 5, appreciate your belongings. She didn't throw things out in a hurry. No frustration. No guilt. No grabbing a trash bag and tossing without a thought. Instead, before letting anything go, she paused and softly said, "Thank you." Thank you to the scarf that kept her warm on winter walks. Thank you to the plate that once held birthday cake. Even thank you to the handbag she no longer used, but that had carried her through many chapters. It might sound strange at first, but this simple act changed everything. Because when you learn to appreciate your belongings, you stop treating them as disposable. You start seeing them as part of your life's journey. You become more mindful of what comes into your home and more graceful with what you release. In Japanese culture, this practice is rooted in respect, not just for the item but for the life it served. And when you bring that respect into your home, clutter naturally begins to shrink. You stop holding onto things out of fear or habit. You keep what supports you and let go of what has served its purpose with gratitude. It's not about being sentimental over every object. It's about slowing down, recognizing that your home is filled with pieces of your story. And that letting go doesn't have to feel like losing, it can feel like honoring. For many women, especially after 50, we've gathered so much. Items from motherhood, marriage, loss, change. It can feel overwhelming to face it all, to sort through it, to decide what stays. But when you bring appreciation into the process, it softens the task. It becomes less about getting rid of stuff, and more about choosing what still supports the woman you are now. And something else happens too. You start buying less. Because when you truly value what you already have, you no longer chase what you don't need. Your home becomes quieter, clearer, and filled only with what matters. Have you ever thanked something before letting it go, or does this feel like a new idea to you? Let's talk in the comments. You might be surprised how powerful this small habit really is. Habit number 6, clean as you go. She never let mess pile up. Not because she was constantly cleaning, but because she moved through her home with quiet intention. When she cooked, she cleaned. Not all at once, not obsessively. Just one dish while the soup simmered. A quick wipe after slicing vegetables. No build-up. No aftermath. Just flow. When she read, she returned the book. When she paid a bill, the envelope didn't linger on the table. When she opened a drawer, she closed it fully. Every action had a gentle close, a respectful ending. Over time, her home stayed clear, not through major cleaning sessions, but through small resets that required almost no effort, only awareness. This habit didn't ask for more time. It actually gave her time back. Because she never had to stop and say, "I'll deal with this later." Later never came. Now became enough. And that's the quiet wisdom behind this habit. The mess we feel buried under rarely appears in one day. It's the coffee mug that sat too long, the mail that stayed on the counter, the laundry that waited just one more day. Each one a whisper of delay until the whole space shouts for attention. But when you clean as you go, you avoid the overwhelm. You stay connected to your space. You give your future self a gift, a lighter load, a softer environment, a moment of peace instead of panic. It's especially powerful for women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond. When energy can fluctuate. When you value your time more deeply. When you realize less mess equals more freedom. This habit is not about being busy. It's about being present. It's a way of honoring your space in real time instead of handing it all to tomorrow. And even more, it teaches you to treat your home with the same care and kindness you offer others. What's one small task you could start finishing right away instead of putting it off? Is there a little mess that you're ready to stop saving for later? Let's chat in the comments. Your shift might spark someone else's change. Habit number 7. Treat cleaning as meditation, not punishment. She didn't see cleaning as something to dread. It wasn't a punishment for falling behind or a chore she had to get through. Instead, it became something else entirely, a form of care. A quiet, thoughtful rhythm that soothed her mind while it cleared her space. She didn't rush. She didn't grumble. She moved slowly, wiping the table like she was clearing her thoughts, sweeping the floor as if making room for new energy. Sometimes there was soft music in the background. Other times, just silence and the sound of her own breath. The act of cleaning became a kind of meditation. A grounding ritual, not a stressful obligation. And because she approached it with calm, the experience changed. It wasn't about scrubbing harder or working faster. It was about being present with her hands, her surroundings, her thoughts. When we treat cleaning as punishment, it becomes heavy. It drags us down. We associate it with shame, pressure, and frustration, especially if we feel like we're always behind. But when we reframe it as care, not just for the home but for ourselves, the entire experience softens. We start to find peace in the process. A kind of release. A reset not just of our space but of our spirit. As women who've carried so much, raised families, managed households, navigated change, we deserve to feel that the home cares for us too. And that begins with the energy we bring to caring for it. You don't need hours. Just one mindful moment. A wiped counter. A folded blanket. A breath. This is how healing begins, slowly, quietly, with love. Have you ever felt calm or clear while cleaning, even just for a moment? Or do you still see it as a burden you wish you could avoid? Share your truth in the comments. You may help another woman see her own home and her own time differently. Her home didn't change overnight. There was no dramatic makeover, no expensive redesign. Just quiet choices made day by day, habit by habit. She didn't need more storage bins. She needed less noise, less guilt, less confusion. And as her space became lighter, so did she. The piles disappeared. The anxiety softened. And something unexpected emerged, peace. What began as simple habits turned into a deeper shift. She no longer felt buried by her things. She felt supported by her space. Her home became a place that reflected who she was now, not who she used to be or what she used to carry. And maybe that's the real transformation. Not just a tidier room, but a calmer mind. A renewed sense of self. A life that breathes more easily because the clutter inside and out no longer owns her. So now I want to ask you, which of these habits felt like it was made just for you? Which one spoke to your season of life right now? Maybe it's time to release what no longer serves you, or to start treating your space like the sanctuary it's meant to be. Whatever it is, I invite you to share in the comments. This is more than a video, it's a community. A space for women like you who are creating peace one small habit at a time. And if this message touched something in you, don't leave without tapping subscribe. Here we explore calm, confidence, and smart living after 50 together. Because this chapter of life, it deserves to be light, clear, and beautifully yours.